payroll process executed, so payroll flows in Fusion HCM payroll calculation work area. We could have the, we calculate the payroll calculation. So payroll calculation is what? Payroll flows, submit a process or report, select LDG, and then calculate the payroll flow pattern. So like when we talk about calculate payroll, so calculate payroll is the first payroll process to be executed from the payroll calculation work area. So when we calculate payroll process, payroll flow, submit a process or report, you select an LDG and then calculate the payroll flow pattern. So I will show it to you how to go for payroll calculation. So what is the steps in calculating the payroll? First, we have to submit a payroll. You have to calculate the payroll in terms of how to calculate, in order to write down the date offsets, in order to write the date, cutoff date, template cutoff date, and date offsets, payslip date, what is that word? Payslip date, Paytm cutoff date, scheduled run, payroll run, all these date of cutoff date. So all these date. After that, we define the payment methods. Payment methods are like single payment method or organization payment methods or personal payment methods. Okay. Then we are going to define about the payroll flows. Payroll flows is like what? Calculate where the first payroll process to be executed from the payroll calculation area. That is called payroll flows. Calculate payment format, payment distribution, payroll flow, submit a process or report. Payroll process sequence. The following flows can be run one at a time to complete the full payroll cycle. Calculate payroll, calculate prepayment, make EFT payment, generate check payment, generate payslips, calculate costing of payment, transfer to subledger. The following flows can be done at any time to complete the full payroll cycle. Calculate payroll, calculate prepayment, make EFT payment, generate payslips, calculate costing of payment, and transfer to GL. Calculate payment, calculate prepayment, make EFT payment, generate payslips, calculate costing of payment, transfer to GL. So what is element? Element is any subcomponents of pay or compensation given to an employee. The compensation may be in the form of cash or non-cash components, basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, medical premium, leave, vacancy, paid time off, car allowance, alimony, child support, taxes, provident fund. So all these are salary components, right? Basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, all these are salary components. Element is what? It's a component of pay or compensation given to an employee. So what is an element? Element is what? A components of a salary. It can be basic salary, housing allowance, transport, bonus, vacation, leave, paid time off, car, house, alimony. And every element is grouped as classification of earnings. Earnings can be anything. It can be deductions, or every element can be grouped as classifications of earnings. It can be, so element can be earnings, deductions, employer charges, voluntary deductions. So it can be basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, medical premium, bonus, vacation, leave, paid time off, car allowance, alimony, child support, and taxes. So all these things are comes under basic salary. So basic salary is what? Housing allowance, transport allowance, medical. So all these are, suppose I check out as these elements. So all these are elements: basic salary, transport allowance, paid time, child support, taxes, provident fund. All these things are elements, and every element is put as earnings, deductions, employer charge, voluntary deductions. So all these things are clubbed together as elements. Okay. Okay. Element is what? It's like any component of a salary paid to an employee. What is element? Element is any component of a salary paid to an employee. So what is can? Element is any component of a salary paid. You understand what is an element? So elements can be non-recurring. And recurring elements are entered once and paid in every pay period. Recurring elements are entered once and paid in every pay period. Every pay period you pay that. And non-recurring is that you have to be entered in every pay period. But recurring will come in entered once and paid in every pay period. So for example, suppose I say HRA. HRA is what? HRA, house rent allowance, is what? It's a recurring pay period. It comes in a recurring pay period. And non-recurring comes like bonus. Bonus is what? It's a non-recurring element. It will not come under everything. So bonus is a non-recurring element. It will not come every pay period. Okay? It will not come. It's a non-recurring element. Salary is a recurring element paid to an employee. Okay? Medical premium is a recurring element, and bonus is a non-recurring element. Priority for element is which controls the order in which elements are processed. Priority is assigned to the classification by the range of numbers. I will tell you what is priority. Priority is like 1 to 1000 and 1 to 6000. 1 to 1000, this is the priority that you have. So what is the priority that you can have for classification of numbers? So what is the priority that you can have? Every element has or more than one input value. Input value is anything that is required to process the element. So what is the input value? If basic salary is 10,000 and housing loan is 50% of the basic, so percentage of HR is the input value. So input value, I'll show it in the screen that pay value is, input value is 50%. Input value is what? Input value is the pay value that is, what is activated. What is that? 50% of the payment, like if the basic salary is 10,000, housing loan is 50% of the basic. So percentage of HR is input value. Okay? Pay value is what? Put the final amount payable to employees against that element. That is, pay value is the input value, whatever you pay to the employees. Input values can be type, numbers, character, date, and days. So we can also define rules for each input value. For example, maximum, minimum, default. So input value is what? It is like the pay value. Whatever you are paying to that element, particular against that element. So I'll show you in the screen how to create an element after this theory.
Okay.
So if the salary is 10,000, housing loan is 50% of the basic, so percentage of HR is input value. So I should show it to you. My client groups, workforce structures. I am not going to workforce structures. Now go to payroll. Go to payroll.
Okay.
Okay, now you can see the screens sharing and you can see the cost of payroll relationship. Now I will teach you one by one. I will teach you everything. Okay. Now go to element entries. Element entries, view process for information groups, calculate entries, calculation cards, costing of persons, payroll relationship, personal payment method, third party personal payment method, pay slips, payroll information, external event notification. So one by one, I'm going to show you the details. Okay. So what is simplified quick pay, person withdrawals, batch loader, submitter flow, view flows, payroll dashboard, spreadsheet. So all these things I'm going to teach you. So go to element entries.
Yes.
Search for the person. Suppose I'm searching for a person called suppose I select a person, right?
Okay.
Okay, now select this person. Now annual salary is my, okay. Now effective actions create. So now I create an element entry. Actions create a new. I show you the element already created once. Element name, element salary, and I'll show you the element already created once. So this is what annual salary is element name. Recurring element, you can see standard earnings. Okay. And
Okay.
element entry and pay value is itna, amount itna. Salary proposal is this one. Costing, general information. These are the things that we have done. Now go to element entry. Search for any employee. Suppose I start as AI important. Create. Housing allowance है, personal loan है, regular salary, whatever that you have. Personal loan, housing allowance, you have social allowance network, housing allowance, regular salary, personal loan. Okay, so assignment details is like this. Continue on this, and then you can start about the general information. You ask like pay value. Pay value, can you write as for this element personal loan? Suppose I have taken a loan of 10,000 rupees, right? Amount is pay value is what? Input value. Whatever the amount that you pay, that is called input value. And this is the amount that I'm paying periodically, lunar month or monthly, suppose I say calendar month. Okay. So this is the thing. Deduction reference. So now I'm going to talk about the arrears. Arrears means what? Arrears means like missing payment or something. Money that is owed and should have been paid earlier. That is backdated payment, I think. Okay, arrears. Clear arrears? Yes. You have to clear the reduction reference. You must enter a value. Reference number, something. Total owed. Entry value, that means whatever input values we are going to enter. So all these things we are going to enter, right? So these are things that we have. Okay, this is a personal loan that I have taken from the bank. Like this is the element entry I have created. Reduction personal loan, KW personal loan as on date 6th one, or I'll take first of this date. Okay, 1st June. This is the personal loan that I have created and clear arrears, production element, partial payment. Yes. Okay. Now save this arrears, element entry, and then submit this. Okay, this is the arrears that we have created.
Okay.
Now go to costing. Costing is what? Costing account, that means it goes into some credit account. Okay, so anything which is goes to credit account, that is called costing. Edit means like you have to, if you want to make changes to this problem to this. And personal loan, that means you create an element name for personal loan that you have created on this this thing. Okay, element entries. Now go to calculation. Now coming to adjust individual balances. What are the adjust individual balances? Search for the employee. Search for any employee. This time take Amin Ran. Okay. Now effective, start with the element name. Select any element. Suppose element and submit. Okay. Now assignment number, if I am taking as E102, that is the assignment, second assignment that I am taking. Gross sales and amount. Adjustment value is suppose 2,000 rupees. Amount will be 2,000 rupees. Okay. Include adjustment in payment balance. Include adjustment in costing process. No. Adjustment means like you want to adjust that balance. Suppose how to adjust that balance, that amount. So that is called adjustment of a balance. So that is for individual balance, adjusting your balances, right?
Okay.
Submit. Now coming to quick pay. Now coming to, I will teach you quick pay first. Okay. What is quick pay? It is for a single employee. Okay. If I am giving the employee, it is for a single employee. Okay. Now go to AI. Search any employee. Okay. Now search for any employee. So you have to calculate the quick pay of this employee. So I have created one element, create a payroll name. I have not created any payroll. Go to simplified quick pay, search for the person, search for employee.
Okay.
So all these things, the elements that you're seeing, dental post-tax, dental employer, dental pre-tax, medical employer, all these things that you're seeing, medical pre-tax, supplementary life pre-tax, all things that you're seeing these things, all these things are element name actually, right? Wellness employer, years taxations, all these things are element name, right? Go to these things, go to add, element name you can write here as. Acha, these are things I just want to tell you these things. Calculate quick pay dogra, and you have to submit these. You have submitted this element, and you have to what you have to do. You have to submit these elements have been processed. You can see these checkbox have been checked, right? So these have been checked. Checkbox have been checked. So that means you have to process these elements. You have to process these elements. That means you have to process these elements, right? And we have to so select any element, select all, and you have processed these elements. So you have to quick pay semi-monthly payroll, and you have to quick pay these things. So quick pay means what? You have to quick pay this particular employee. So element name is bereavement, suppose, for example. Continue this element. Continue. Submit. Now submit. Elements have already been selected. I didn't select any element by default for this employee. The element was already there. So that is why I didn't select that element. So I'm taking the element which is already being calculated. So calculate quick pay, and then we are calculating the quick pay of these employees. Now see. Okay.
Okay.
Are we done? Now you can see the calculate statement of earnings. Right?
Yeah.
This is the gross pay, pre-tax deductions, employee tax deductions, voluntary deductions, net payment. Okay, so all these things pay run, all these things we are calculating. Okay, so we can calculate the, you can see the net payment, employee contribution, employee contributions, earnings, pre-tax deductions, other deductions. The gross pay, pre-tax deductions, employee tax deductions, voluntary deductions, and net paid. All these things have been paid actually properly, right? So this is the standard earnings that we are paying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we are show details. Now we are going to calculate what? We are going to This is the regular salary. Employee tax deductions we have. Social security, employee withheld, medical withheld, SIT withheld, and supplementary life pre-tax, medical pre-tax, dental pre-tax, vision pre-tax. So all these things. Now, employee contributions we have. Dental employee, wellness employee, medical employee, vision employee. All these things we have. So all these things have been run. Now, this is where is that page? Yeah. This is the net payment that we have. This is the earnings, employee tax deductions, pre-tax deductions, other deductions, employee contributions. Okay. So all these things for a single employee, this is the quick pay. Now I'm going to calculate the statement of earnings. I hope it comes the statement of these SOE. SOE will come. SOE means the statement of earnings because every employer wants the statement of earnings also.
Yeah.
Now go to view statement of earnings. It will take time. It usually takes this much of time. It is not network problem. It is not network problem. This is the time because it has calculating the arrears. It will calculate the arrears. It will calculate backdate payment. It will calculate the pre-tax deductions, the post payroll deduction. Everything it will calculate.
Okay.
Post tax deductions, pre-tax deductions, everything. So you can see FT is 40 days is the period. Current salary is 81,000. Annual salary is this salary basis. Working hours is 40 hours that you have. And US, so you just why it is taking so much of time? I hope it opens. Now you can see the SOE. Yeah, now it has come. So SOE statement of earnings is what? Statement of earnings is 2,251 and pre-tax deductions, employee tax deductions, other deductions, employee contributions. Now gross pay, pre-tax deductions, employee tax deductions, small deductions, and net payment. All these things are comes under the quick pay regular payroll, right?
Yeah.
Right. So all these things are comes under quick pay regular payroll. Okay. So statement of earnings is what? That is your earnings and deductions. So your earnings is this and your deductions is this. Your earnings is deduction is this and deductions are this. Employee contribution is this. Your PF account, pre-tax deductions, employer contribution, employee tax deductions, earnings. All these things comes under pre-tax deductions.
Okay.
So all these things are this thing, tax contribution to it. Go to actions, and so you can see the current SOE, statement of earnings, right?
Yeah.
So now what is the submitter flow? So now we can see the simplified quick pay of single employee that we have seen. So I have not shown you I have not shown you the things like this thing. I have not shown you how to create uh, uh, this is the employees that has already been in the application, right? And
Yeah.
like these are the things, element name, all these things, element wellness employer, wellness tax, regular salary, US taxation, medical employee contribution, life pre-tax, all these things already there. So we have already seen these things, right? But I have
Yeah.
not created an element. This is all the predefined element that I've taken and shown it to you, that this is the thing, the how it happens. But actually in the real life implementation project, you have to create your own this thing, right? You have to create your own personal, go to personal, not personal payment method. Create an element. So for what are the steps? I'll just show you this, tell you the steps. What are the steps of creating a payroll? So create
First,
cutoffs, create cutoff dates. Okay? Create
okay.
create cutoff dates को नहीं बोलेंगे. We create date offsets. Okay? Then we
Okay.
create payment methods. Payment methods like organization and personal payment methods. Personal payment. Create payroll. ठीक है?
Okay.
Once this is done, create elements. ठीक है?
Yes.
Create date elements. So create elements, recurring and non-recurring. Then what we are going to create? Then create what? create element link, link
Okay.
that element to the payroll concern. Create link that payroll create elements, create formulas, element link to payroll. Okay. Then what we are going to do? Date offsets, payment is now. This is done. So now process the payroll. That is called prepayment. Check what is we are going to do? Check payment. Check, cash, check writer. Sorry, writer. Check writer. We can have check writer.
Okay.
Check writer, cash, and check writer. Prepayment. Payment is what? Payment, prepayment, payment, post payment. Okay. Direct deposit, right?
Yeah.
Prepayment, payment. Now process that payroll. You have to process that payroll, run the payroll. That is, run the payroll by either you do quick pay or else you do what? Payroll run. You know EBS, now you must be knowing these things, right?
Yeah.
Pay, payroll run, right? Check, cash, check writer, direct deposit, payment, run the payroll, quick pay or payroll run. What will come under post payment? Pay slip, transfer to GL, transfer to GL. Okay.
Okay.
Recurring and non-recurring, create formula, state element things, payment, check, cash, check, direct deposit. It run the payroll, quick pay, payroll run, post payroll processing, payroll transfer to GL, right?
Yeah.
Check, cash, check, direct deposit, payment, run the payroll, quick pay, payroll run. I'll show you how to do payroll run. Here we have what called payroll flow. Simplified, payroll flow pattern. Okay, payroll flow pattern. And here we call quick pay, both are simplified quick pay. Okay, payroll flow pattern and simplified quick pay. Payroll flow pattern is like running the payroll. Now, one by one, we are going to discuss about one by thing. Adjust individual balances we have done. Now, calculation cards. What we have done. What are batch loaders? Schedule. Batch loaders are what? Like suppose I am going to select any batch, select a batch flow name, enter batch. So this is where clear, element entries you're clear, element design you're clear. Salary basis I'm going to teach you, balances and batch. What is this is? I've not hit batch element entry. No, come. Batch entry. Balance fields, balance batch element entry. I'll show it to you. That means if I have to run a batch name is like uh, batch run rame. Cancel this operation. Cancel this operation. Batch element entry is like when you batch lines create karte hain, when you are entering a mass update of batches. Actually, when you have like the header identifies the batch, identifies the batch file existing element entries. Set the effective date to the date when you want the entries to take effect. Enter the name of the batch. Create a new entry. Reject entry. So what is this used for? Actually, it is used for one element entry per assignment. Create batch lines. That is validating a batch element, transferring a batch, purging a batch, and roll back a batch. Select the element in the element. And then coming to elements, we are going to discuss about elements. We are going to discuss elements. Now coming to, so now we are going to get go to payroll. What is payroll? Where is payroll? Yeah.
Okay.
Element entries. Search for the person. Go for personal loan. So create a new element. Actions create. Element name. So element entry and element is a different thing, right? Element classification is standard earnings. Entry type is element entry, right? Element entry. Element
Yes.
entry. Regular salary is regular salary. Standard earnings is standard earnings. Element entry. Pay value is 100. Suppose 10,000. Pay amount is 10,000. Full-time equivalent, yes. Okay. Element entry pay, standard earnings, regular salary, costing. Element entry. So this is the element entry regular salary. Element is standard earnings. Element classification name is standard earnings. And entry tab is element entry. So standard earnings is the element is regular salary that we have created. Okay. For the pay value is 10,000 that we have created. Constant. Okay. Now save this. For E2945. Done. So we have created a new element. I'll just create a new one. Now go to Oh. Okay, now you can see calculation entries. So what are these things actually? Calculation entries is what? So when we talk absences, standard entries, tax folding. So all these are calculation balances, element, input values, eligibility rules, formula. Element entries, we have a actual payment which any needs to be qualified as that can be said with the third person. This element eligibility, depending on the specific requirement, the eligibility will be given by the person's job, payroll statutory unit, legal employer, department. Okay.